Hi everyone, my name is Sonila. I'm the food blogger behind Mediterranean and Latin Love Affair food blog. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'd like to show you how we make pickled green tomatoes. This is a very traditional dish back in Albania, where I'm from. We make these pickled green tomatoes around fall time, so we can have them ready for winter. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we'll do for the green tomatoes is that we need to prepare the brine. The brine is just water and salt. However, for the salt, I would like to point out that we'll need to use coarse salt. It's better to use Mediterranean coarse sea salt. The formula for preparing the tomatoes is about 1 liter of water with 1/3 cup of coarse sea salt. We have to boil them together and then let the brine cool down a little bit. We can use it warm, it just cannot be boiling. Okay, so let's get started. I have in the pot, I have 4 cups of water, 1/3 cup of sea salt, coarse sea salt. We pour it in, we'll do a quick mix. Okay. And we set this to boil. Okay, so once the brine is getting ready, we'll have to prep the tomatoes. First, I have prepared the jar. I've sterilized it before with hot boiling water, and I put it to dry nearby. The tomatoes that I'm able to find here in Florida, I live in Florida, are a little bit different than the tomatoes I'm used to using back home in Albania. These are a little bit bigger. So back home, when getting the tomatoes ready for the pickled tomatoes, we could pinch them with a fork around the tomatoes, or give them like a cross shape and put them in the jar like this. However, these tomatoes are a lot bigger than the ones I'm used to using, so I think it will be better if we split them in quarterly pieces. Clean, and then we can put them in the jar in quarterly pieces. Okay, let's work through all of them. This is a little bit bigger still. Okay, we continue with all the tomatoes. We repeat the same process. I give the jar a good shake so the tomatoes can leave as least space possible between. Halfway through, I like to add a little bit of parsley, about 5 garlic cloves, bay leaves, 4 bay leaves, a teaspoon of peppercorn, and 2 chili peppers. Okay, let's continue with the rest of tomatoes. Okay, so once we're done cutting all the tomatoes, we fill the jar up to the top. We'll add the remaining parsley as much as you can. It enhances the flavor and fills the voids. Okay, I have here the brine, the water we prepared with the coarse sea salt. We'll pour that in, then we'll pour a cup of vinegar. Let me tell you something really quick about this. Back home we used to prepare the jar. Actually we used the clay jug. We prepared it almost exactly like this. However, we only used water and salt. We didn't use vinegar. However, that clay jug was stored in a cold temperature. It was winter time. We used to weigh the tomatoes down with a clean rock, a smooth surface clean rock, so the tomatoes wouldn't appear in the surface. It will weigh them down under the salt water, and then the top used to be covered with a fabric almost like a cheesecloth, like similar to this one. It used to be covered like this and then tied down so little ants or fermentation flies wouldn't go in. I live in a hot climate. I don't think just water and salt will do the pickling or the fermentation, so I prefer going a more classic route where we use the brine and vinegar to pickle these tomatoes. Okay, so I'll pour the water in first. The water is cooled down. It's not hot anymore, but make sure to boil it before. Okay, and I didn't get to pour it all in. I want a little bit of space for the vinegar. The vinegar is the last one to go in, and I fill it in up to 1/4 inch to the edge of the jar. Okay. If you notice, there are certain bubbles coming up, so you can give it a little bit of a shake without spilling it, or you can use a fork to make sure that there are no oxygen bubbles in it. Okay, once it's all set, we close the jar. For safety reasons, I recommend that you use proper canning technique. Get a big pot of water, boil the water, put a layer underneath so the bottom of the jar doesn't touch the bottom of the pot. Turn it upside down. Give it a boil for about 10 minutes and then set it aside, and you can set the jar in a dark area in your kitchen. Store it for about 2 weeks, and then you can open it and the tomatoes will be pickled. If you leave it about a month, they will be even more fermented. The taste will be more pronounced. Now, how do you use these tomatoes? The way we used it back in Albania is usually in a salad, and usually serve that salad with kalamata olives, onions, and we put it as a side dish, usually to bean soups. I think for us it's like a match made in heaven, bean soup with like pickled salad. However, here in US, I noticed that pickled vegetables are used mostly in sandwiches or as side dishes, or with some hummus. So you can choose how you like to eat this, but believe me, you won't regret it. They are amazing, plus healthy. Fermented vegetables are healthy for you. So I hope you give them a try. Let me know if you like them or if you have any questions about the process. And if you like to watch more videos from my home country Albania, or more videos for recipes with Latin food where my husband is from, please subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching my videos. Bye!